Chris. I'm a visual anthropologist here at Cut, and I'm the series editor for 100 Years of Beauty. Today, we are reflecting on the video we launched last week, which is the 100 Years of Beauty Argentina. We just want to talk a little bit about the intentions and thought we put into the research. There's this word in Spanish, it gets used a lot when you describe flamenco. It's called duende in tango. It can refer to this moment of passion, of interest, of the hairs raising on the back of your neck. The idea that something is beautiful or captivating or spellbinding for a moment. That beauty is temporary and it disappears. And it's in its fleeting nature that makes it so enchanting. And that's something we've tried to capture in this video with Mariela, who shows us 11 moments of captivating, spellbinding beauty that subconsciously we understand to be temporary and fleeting. Beauty is kind of a paradox. On the one hand, beauty itself is a way of facing the past, but it's also a way of facing the future. We can never disentangle those two faces of beauty when we quite literally face the world. When we begin the video, it's the centennial anniversary of the Argentine state. So we are inspired by the Art Nouveau posters that come out at around this time. Mariela is made up to be one of these kind of Romanesque, mythic women looking out into the future. And it's interesting to say that we've captured the 2nd century of Argentina's history at this moment onward. When she's looking out, we kind of wonder if she's going to notice that this place is going to have 5 different military coups d'etats. They're going to be tremendous and devastating economic recessions over and over again. That there will be state terrorism and violence and disappearance of children and other political dissidents. Right? So this is a place with a tremendously turbulent and complex history. And despite that, beauty still manages to evolve and captivate. So that's a paradox that's at the heart of this video, and I think is interesting to explore only visually. In the 20s and the 30s, we used covers from Cinelandia, which is an Argentine pop culture publication, which is about cinema. So one part of the consciousness of Argentina, in particular the people of Buenos Aires or porteños, is that think of themselves as very cosmopolitan, very sophisticated, global citizens, descendants of Europe. So Cinelandia is a kind of publication that tries to join in Argentine audiences with a global star system for cinema. Okay, so a lot of the people on the covers of these magazines are actually themselves American or Canadian or European. Okay, so of course, no video about Argentina and beauty would be complete without an appearance from Eva Perón, which is probably one of the most iconic and recognizable faces out of Argentina's history. Not only is she the first lady of Argentina, she also becomes a cultural symbol, a kind of cult figure. Evita would make these grand public appearances and speeches wearing jewels and pearls, and she would say, "One day you too can have all this." Her beauty is an aspirational one. It's kind of a symbol in this moment for these people of hope and optimism. And so that's kind of one of the themes that runs through this video. Argentina is a politically unstable place during this time. In the early 60s, there are a number of military coups. And while that's happening, there's of course this global women's sexual liberation on the other hand. Our interest in this moment is on Coca, also known as Isabel Sarli, who is like this kind of sexy, vampy pop culture icon. She appeared in kind of steamier movies. She's like very, Coca gives us the first nude scene. Despite this factor, maybe because of it, she actually becomes ensconced in the cultural zeitgeist, and to this day actually is kind of an ambassador for popular culture in Argentina. A couple of the looks in the video are actually taking place in the same square in Buenos Aires. This is the Plaza de Mayo, this kind of public gathering space. And it's been the site of bombings and protests, and over the course of Argentina's history, it has been really culturally and politically significant. So we see it when Evita Perón is standing on the balcony of the Casa Rosada, looking out down upon her followers in the crowd. She's doing this thing, the Evita thing, the super iconic look. Flash forward to the 1970s, We're interested at the women who appear to protest and demand answers for the missing children of Argentina's dirty war. Under state terrorism and state violence, people are disappeared. Children are forcibly removed from their families and placed in other families, often without anybody's knowledge. So they wear white headscarves, and on them you'll see the names of people who have disappeared, or the desaparecidos. The anguish about the uncertainty of these children's lives drives these women to make a rather powerful and enduring sign of political protest. And these women still appear to this day in the Plaza de Mayo with their white headscarves. So that icon does not go away. Even though you see it in the 70s, it continues. In the 80s, there was the Falkland Wars, which was between the United Kingdom and Argentina over this territorial dispute, over this tiny island that arguably has no resources or is of any geopolitical interest to anybody. But despite that, there's a bit of antagonism still, I think, that persists between Argentines and the Brits. If there's a theme emerging here, right, it's that even though we're choosing women that are from entertainment, that are produced commercially and cosmetically to be viewed as sex symbols or objects, despite that, those forms of beauty and those stylings are concomitantly happening during really dark and turbulent moments politically and economically in everyday life. So I don't think you actually can separate the fantasy image of, say, Sandra Milanovic's huge hair and the frivolity and decadence of it from this actually real material war in which people are dying, right? These things are always going hand in hand. In the beginning of the 2000s, Argentina experiences a completely devastating recession, right? Inflation is totally crazy. People are losing a lot of their personal assets, right? And so I think we really wanted to choose the Flogger look. Flogger is like photo blogger, right? So these kids that are using MySpace and other technologies to mix and match and remix styles from punk and goth and emo around the world to this really particular kind of style. So like the leader, the face of the Floggers is Cumbio. She's kind of like this gay icon too. And so like the style is super DIY, inventive. And you could read it, I think, as a rejection of the completely dematerialized promises of capitalism in Argentina at this time, right? People can no longer have faith in these institutions that have generated ideas about beauty. These kids represent one kind of response, which is to say, fuck it. So one of the comments that I always see in the 100 Years of Beauty series is that it's because of globalization that people all look the same, especially towards the end of the century. And I think this is one instance where we see something like MySpace, which is supposed to be globalizing and supposed to bring us all together into one tighter-knit global community, actually generate something incredibly specific and local. And so I like this Flogger look because it really complicates the idea that because of social media, that we're all becoming homogenized. I think actually not. People are on the ground doing their own thing and using these technologies for very hyper-specific, particular purposes. So we start the video with this kind of fantasy imagination of a woman who is supposed to embody Argentina looking out into the next century, imagining what the future will look like. And then we end the video with the image of La China, and it's a selfie of herself looking back. When you watch the whole video from start to finish, the thing I really see is that Argentina's sense of beauty is, yes, about being sophisticated and cosmopolitan and cultivated and chic, but at the other hand, it's always about how Argentine women have used beauty to look both towards the future and to remember and try to recover the past.